Hey there folks, today I'd like to take a casual peek into the DC Universe Signature Collection Starman action figure set by Mattel. This set is part of the July 2012 release of the DC Universe Club Infinite Earth subscription, and I got this set in July of 2012, being a member of that program, and paid $15 for this set. Taking a look at Starman here in the packaging. Now this is one of the several versions of Starman in the DC Universe, I guess, mythos. And this one is actually of Tom Calor, who was actually from the future, a member of the Legion of Superheroes. And eventually goes back into the past, becoming a member of the JSA. And you can see the figure here wearing his multiverse, I guess, costume. And this figure also comes with an alternate head sculpt, which is pretty cool. Down here you can see the name of the character here, and here it says Adult Collector, but I believe it's for collectors of all ages. Here on the side we have a nice picture of Starman wearing his multiverse suit. Pretty cool. And here we have the back of the package with a full picture of Starman there, and with a nice starburst pattern behind the character there. And here we have a brief description of Tom Calor as Starman. And I forgot to mention that there is also a nice fiery pattern backing card behind the figure there. It's actually pretty cool. Now we'll be right back and have Tom Calor as Starman out of the package. Okay, we're back and we have Starman out of the package. And I have to admit that when I first heard that Starman was going to make the lineup in the DC Signature Collection, I was mildly enthusiastic. I was enthusiastic that we were getting yet another version of Starman, especially the Tom Calor version, because being a member of the JSA, I'm a big fan of. And but just not too excited, because from the pictures that I saw, it kind of tempered my enthusiasm, mainly because I had a fill-in Starman figure, a Tom Calor Starman figure, in my JSA lineup of figures, the DC Direct version, and I was already happy with that, other than the scale issue and articulation. So seeing the pictures of these DC Signature Collection Starman, I wasn't that excited about it. But then the figure arrived. It looked a little better in person, but I didn't have it out of the package until I saw a few videos on YouTube on the Signature Collection Starman, and that's when my my expectations were risen a little bit, because at that time I did not know that the Signature Collection Starman was a translucent figure similar to the DC Direct version. I thought it was just a solid version figure with painted stars for his multiverse suit. But mildly surprised to find out through those videos, such as from friends such as Gerhawk, Hang Loose, that the multiverse suit was actually translucent, and have the figure here finally out of the box. You could see that it is translucent. In the box I couldn't really tell, but pretty happy now that I have an in-scale Starman with better articulation. So I'm now happy to replace this figure, or replace the DC Direct figure here that I have with the DC Signature Collection figure. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. And the figure comes with one accessory, and that's the alternate head sculpt. And I have the alternate head sculpt on the figure, so we'll go ahead and take a look at that now. And you can see it's the unmasked Tom Calor, which is pretty cool. And I actually have to admit that I like this sculpt of the unmasked Tom Calor better than the DC Direct version. I don't have the DC Direct version unmasked head with me at the moment. It's currently in a accessory bin, which I am not able to access, but to do a comparison. But this one, seeing this one in person is actually a little bit better. It's got better paint detail, I think. And it's very nice, and I really like the sculpt of the beard and the hair. It's actually quite nice on here. Now, I don't plan to use the unmasked Tom Calor head in my JSA lineup. I prefer the masked version. I would have preferred even more if it came with a halfway unmasked Tom Calor head from unmasked from the nose down, because from the comics I read, he often had his mask raised just a little bit to be able to eat his sloppy joes while he was at the sanitarium. Would have been cool if they had a halfway unmasked head to represent that, and I would have kept that head on the figure. But it came with two heads, so that's pretty cool. The unmasked head here, and I'm gonna go ahead and remove the head. It's pretty simple to pop off, and you can see the ball joint there. And I'm gonna place the masked head, which was which was attached to the figure in the packaging. And here we have a nice head sculpt of the masked version of Tom Calor, which is pretty cool. You can see the whites of the eyes there on the mask, and the head is translucent or semi-translucent like the rest of the figure here, and it does have the star pattern, pretty much like glitter on, I believe it's on the underside of the plastic, being translucent. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like. And it's pretty nice on there, and I really like it. And like I said, I would have preferred an unmasked or halfway unmasked head, but this will do, and I do like it on there. And taking a look at the rest of the figure, you could see his suit, which is basically the map of the multiverse, and it is semi-translucent plastic. It may be hard to see in the video, but if you shine a light behind it, you can see the innards of the figure, or at least part of the innards on here. Now, comparing it with the DC Direct version that I had as a filler, this is where I like the DC Direct version a little bit better, because the star patterns are a little bit more defined. I think they use a little bit bigger glitter than what's on the Signature Collection figure. And also there's actually I guess an inner core on this figure which has got another glitter pattern, so there's layers of glitter on the DC Direct version, which is very, very nice. Now I really can't tell if there's an inner core and if that's glittered on the Signature Collection. It's a little bit more opaque, so that's why I prefer the DC Direct version, because you can actually see multiple layers of the multiverse in the body design. On this one, it just looks like it's on just underneath the surface of the figure here, but it's still a pretty cool figure to have if you don't have the DC Direct version. And you can see the glitter pattern on the back of the figure here, running down to the legs on here, and it is actually quite nice. I do like that. Now Starman here does have gloves and boots that are painted a pearlized white. A little hard to see on the video screen here, but it's actually quite nice, and I'm glad they did that instead of just solid white. The pearlized white does make it look a lot better on here, and it's simply painted on. There's no sculpt involved on the boots or the gloves there, so that's but still it's quite nice, and it's not too necessary to have it sculpted on there. But one thing I noticed on this figure here, the lower leg here is a little bit grayer than the middle torso area, upper middle lower torso and upper legs. And also it's the same thing with the arms. Arms are a little bit milkier than the main torso area. I'm just gonna call it a nebulous part of the multiverse, and that's the reason why. But I think they use different grades of plastic on both the lower leg and the arm here. But still, it's I do like the overall effect of the star pattern on the figure. It's actually quite nice. Now the figure uses a basic buck, as basic as can be, really, with no added sculpted details. All the details are actually painted on or glittered on the figure. So this figure will have the standard buck articulation, and we'll go over the articulation now. Now the head can go all the way around, and the head can also bend downwards and upwards quite a bit. But to get to the two ends of the extreme of upward and downward movement, there's a sort of not a ratchet, but a clicky thing where you really have to move that peg joint that's in the head, and it almost sounds like it's about to snap. But you push on it if you want the head to look upwards, and then you can pose the head upwards there. And if you want to point the head downwards, you gotta move that peg forward until it clicks into place, so you can look more in a downward position there. And also the head does tilt side to side, which I think is required for this particular character, just because of his I guess less than stable mental state on there. And continuing the articulation, the arms do go all the way around at the shoulder, and they do go out and in at the shoulder as well. The arms can go all the way around at the bicep, and the arms can bend in and out at the elbow, as well as all the way around at the wrist. So that's kind of cool. And the torso can bend downwards to the upwards and to the back quite a bit. Nothing to hinder the articulation at the back there. And the torso can go all the way around. One thing I noticed on previous DC Universe Classics figures, it was pretty evident that the back plug for capes or wings was plugged in here, but they've done a much better job here making it flush on the back of the figure. You could still see the outline pattern of the peg hole where you can place the cape, but it's a much better job on this figure here. Continuing on, the legs can go up and down and back, and the legs can go out to the side at the hip about that far and in. And the legs can go all the way around at the thigh, and they do bend at the knee about that far back and this much forward. And the feet can bend upwards and downwards, but no side-to-side movement on here. Pretty nice figure. One thing I gotta do note that I experienced another stuck hip joint, much like the previous figure I had taken out of the package, that of the Flash, and it had I had to really pop it out in order to loosen it, and it's able to move now and pretty stiff, but another stuck right hip joint on my second figure from the Signature collection that I've gotten out of the package. So, but overall, it's a good figure, a great addition to the JSA, a great replacement for my DC Direct version, and I do like it, and he'll make a great addition to my lineup of JSA figures. This is my casual peek into the DC Universe Signature Collection Starman action figure. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.